me give you the other 5 things, I promise, and then I'll be out. The 5 levels of career growth or development. 5 levels. Let me see how much time I have, what I will be able to show you there. 5 levels. Level 1. Meanwhile, before I say this, I want to say especially for those of you from the southeast Nigeria, if you get these 3 things right, you will do well. You will succeed. What I was talking about yesterday, I said prosperity is a trinity. At the personal level, the trinity is defined by 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper. That's finance. And be in health. That's physical. Even as your soul prospers. So, this is the trinity they drew there. Apostle John did that. He said, the soul is the starting point. If you develop yourself, then also keep your body healthy, because this will produce a healthy body. The other 3rd element of the triangle will now be what you do and the outcome of that, your career and vocation to create a living, financial prosperity. But he said all the other 2 will depend on how your soul prospers. So if you go inward, you see your spirit, then you see your intellect, then you see your emotion. You also see your will there. On the societal level, prosperity is also a triangle. It's individual prosperity, corporate or organizational prosperity, and then public prosperity. That's societal prosperity. And they need to balance. But just like the one that John proposed, society will prosper to the degree the human capital is developed. Organizations too will prosper to the degree they grow their human resources. So if you develop yourself, you can now be an asset to the organization where you work or the one you founded, and then you can be an asset to your country or your community. So you come to the human capital development, the blueprint God left for us in Genesis 1:26. You develop the image of God in a human being. You develop the likeness, then you develop dominion. And this is what he means in literal sense. Develop his spiritual and moral capital. And you can see that is the residence of religion. That's where the church does not have competition. Because no government can shape the heart. They can make laws, but they cannot register it from paper to the human soul. But when God said, I'll write my laws in their heart, I'll write it in their mind, the only institution that have the authorized with the ability to do this is the church. So you see, they can make all the laws, have security men everywhere, but they can't really do the fundamental thing required to change a society. The teachers can't. The hospitals can't. The prisons can't. As a matter of fact, when they send small criminals to prison, they come out matured criminals. Because the more senior ones, more advanced ones, corrupt that one. So every area where human affairs spread, the church must get involved, because there is a fundamental thing. Somebody said, we don't need religion. We don't need Jesus. We don't need all that. What we need is to grow our finance. Nigeria needs to, China, all these churches need to shut down. Let them focus on growing our economy. Turn all the churches to maybe schools. Turn them to farms so that we can grow our economy. You are not the first to propound that theory. That is the theory on which communism was built on. That's Karl Marx's theory. If just advance economic growth, everybody will be fine in the society. You are joking. What you have forgotten is that the fundamental thing that makes society good or bad is not the bad roads or the good roads, it's the quality of human beings that live there. Who kidnap people in Nigeria? Our flyovers, the hospitals. Who rob people in Nigeria? The electric poles. Who poison people? Who do human ritual? Who steal our money? So, you see, national development is primarily two things. One is human capital development. The other is now infrastructure or development, dominating the environment and developing it. You know, but what people think is if we just take care of those things, everything will be fine. The greatest joke of the century. The first thing to take care of in nation building is the human being. And when you get to taking care of the human being, there is a place where government, schools, and others can begin. They begin with the mind. So, but none of them can shift the heart. The heart of the human problem is the problem of the human heart. Evil is resident in the human heart. That's where God gave the church a mandate. The spiritual and moral formation form the image of God in people. Make everybody like God. Make them compassionate. Make them people of integrity. Make them kind. Make them generous. Make them tolerant. Make them humble. You see, government cannot legislate humility. They want it, but they can't create it. This is what some of you should make your lifetime vocation. While some are treating the body, doctors. Others are taking care of cases, lawyers. Others are treating our cars. Make engineers, you know. Some of you should be treating human beings. Because after all the other ones have done their job, and the principal job is not done, we're in a big problem as a nation. That's why we are here. So the first is the image, the image, the image, the image. And if it's done right, that's why today's church is losing its mission. They don't understand what it is anymore and how to do it. Many pastors have gone off. But that assignment is the greatest assignment, the greatest vocation in every social setting. To join God in the making of human beings. Then right after that is to make them in our likeness. This is now, the first one is spiritual formation, moral formation, to produce good people, trustworthy people, reliable people. The second one now, the likeness, is to produce intelligent, skilled, and capable people. That's where education comes in. It's intellectual, emotional, and professional development. That's part of why you will notice that here, we don't just come here to tell you only of spiritual things and all moral things. But that's also why we bring in some sessions to take care of that. So that you can create people that are competent, who can get the job done, who can solve problems, who can deliver results. Yesterday in the rally, I asked the question, which one is more important? To have a very good man, but he cannot do the job. He's illiterate, he's incompetent. but he's good. He can't see your money. He's very honest. He's very kind, but he can't do the job. Or to get a very competent person, very intelligent, well-trained, well-educated, but extremely corrupt and evil. That second one is the description of Lucifer, Satan. He's not a fool. He's a very intelligent person. He said he was even wiser than other creatures that God made. But he is evil today. He wasn't evil when he was made, but he became corrupt. And now he is the greatest problem, because we have a smooth criminal. We have an intelligent criminal. We have a skillful criminal loose in the society. And being a spirit being, police can't arrest him. FBI can't track him. SARS can't catch him. Guns don't kill him. And he's wreaking havoc everywhere. And recruiting young people everywhere. And because he's very intelligent, he knows what people want. And he uses it. Sex, women, power, money. And he's luring millions of young people and destroying them. Which one is better? God said, I don't want this or that. You have to have both if you're going to create success, if you're going to create dominion. I want it to be godly. I want it to be good. I want it to be ethical. I want it to be morally sound. I want it to be an honest person. I want it to be trustworthy. But I want it to be competent. I want it to be educated. I want it to be intelligent. I want it to be knowledgeable. I want it to be competent, a skill. Give him the job, he will deliver. And that's the kind of man I trust. So this is the work you have to do on yourself. Maybe you go to church and you sleep in church every day. That is not enough to get you out of the hook. Maybe you're only good for heaven and useless for earth. He said over 90% of Nigerian graduates are unemployable. It's time to stop that mess. If you are a child of God, you cannot be incompetent. You are disgracing your redemption. Jesus didn't just come around preaching. He first practiced a profession. He was a carpenter. Actually, maybe the word carpenter is what is making you. No, the guy was into interior decor furnitures and. Do you know that sometimes finishing a building costs as much as constructing it? And sometimes more. Somebody said he was a bivocational preacher. But things grew to a point where he finally left the lower one to focus on molding human beings, saving human beings, grooming human beings. That's my profession. Human beings are my business. That's the profession the Almighty God does. Let us make man. While some others are to build flyovers, build road, I want to build the quality of human beings that will live in that society. So, here in the Southeast, and I'm advocating. This thing going on in Anambra and Aba, little children, primary school, they jump into the market. It needs to be banned. And it happens. They should arrest the parents. They shouldn't treat them too much punishment, but just small penalties to encourage people to let them get education. Maybe at least secondary school, minimum, graduate, then you can go. The truth is that it should be at least, even if it's one level in tertiary education, even if it's OND or whatever. That's why the frustration, you are not going to have dominion that way. You don't fly as an eagle with one wing. You need the image, you need character, but you need competence. You need knowledge, you need skill, you need wisdom. With that you can balance. If you give the Southeast people this balanced development, they will move to level 3, which is dominion. If you give the Nigerian youth this balanced development, they will move to level 3. They will become Sussex. And even if you are moving abroad, the countries will be glad to have you. You don't export liabilities to other people. Morally bankrupt youths or incompetent youths. You don't export ignorance unless you are traveling to go and brush off yourself, get further education. So, see what I've recommended for you. Moral competence and stamina, number 1, as foundation. Of course, plus the fact that there should be salvation there. Number 2, knowledge and wisdom. Professional competence is what I'm recommending for you as number 2. And number 3 is wealth creation capacity. Number 3. You see, is leadership and wealth creation abilities. Either you go through entrepreneurship route or you go through professionalism. Don't just walk. You just walk anyhow. That leads me to 5 levels of growth in whatever vocation. If you're a preacher, if you're a professional, if you're a career person, if you're a business, there are 5 levels. Level 1. Unskilled labor. And millions of people, millions of our young people are trapped there. And that's why I'm recommending that in Abia State, Anambra State, you need to stop this child labor thing we are doing in the name of sending them into markets and all that. Let those children go through school. And then they can go and pursue whatever business they want to do. I'm not against business. Unskilled labor. What is creating that? Lack of human capital development. It's human resource, the greatest resource on earth. But it remains raw material when it's not developed. Unskilled labor, and they fill our churches. Unskilled labor, they fill the markets. Unskilled labor. Have you ever gone to Obomanu joints? Where you can get anybody cleaner, whatever. Roadside mechanics. If you bring some of these modern cars, high-tech, when they finish handling it, your car will develop all the problems that was not there before. Quack doctors. Quack lawyers. Fake pastors. They are now on the increase. When you stand in the presence of a real man of God, there is a difference. I saw them. I saw your mother's side. I saw this. What do you see? When are you going to be tired of that nonsense and get yourself in a place where you can grow up? Unskilled labor. 90% of our graduates are unemployed. So even now we have what takes up, and that is the home of poverty, especially extreme poverty, is that place. These are resources that are not developed. When human resource is passed through development, capacity building, education, they exit that place and become human capital. So this is the home of poverty. This is the problem of Africa. And what is the bridge out of that place? Education. Combined with redemption. There are all two types of education. Educating the human spirit and educating his intellect and emotion and developing the total man. But here is the point. Here is the issue. Now we have millions of young people again that have gone through school, graduated, and are still part of unskilled level. Give them a letter to write. If you see the English and the grammar, give them a job to do. It's graduate of computer science. Give her something to type in the computer. Give her just one small assignment. Why? Because what is going on now, people are sleeping their way through to graduation. People are paying their way through to graduation. Those that join campus courtesy are using intimidation, gun and whatever to intimidate lecturers to give them what they want. They have found different ways of using coercive power to achieve the end, but at the end of the day, they don't really get to the end. Bottom power, money power. So at the end of the day, you're a quack doctor, but you're answering doctor. And people are dying in your hospital. You're a quack. And you can only go so far. Somewhere along there is going to catch up. You were a quack pastor. You didn't go through any development. God called me. So what? The most important profession of God called me. You rush into it. You start lying and manipulating people with the name of God. So God called me to be a doctor. I can just go and open up a hospital. God called me to be a pilot, so I can enter cockpit and start flying aircraft. And what is sad, how people go and sit in such aircraft and let somebody crash your destiny. That's the home of poverty and frustration. The way out of that place is go and develop your resource and turn it to a capital, turn it to a bankable asset, turn it to a sportable asset, turn it to an employable asset, turn it to value. Become a living, breathing, and walking value. Education, education, education. I don't just mean formal. Maybe some of you are already graduate. You have to now look for institution that can give you what you want. You have to go to Faith Foundation and get entrepreneurship training. You have to go like this place I was talking about now. They are providing Israel specific kind of agricultural training. You go there, you come out, you can grow anything anywhere. You can imagine churning harvest in a very hot place like Nasarawa State. Very hot. They condition, create green, and they're growing the thing the minimum is 4 times in a year. He said dry season that there's no harvest. It dry season even when they harvest the most. So, you see, whichever field, man, you have to go and get. Okay, so level 2 is professional skills. Some people use the word vocational skills. Now, you move to this level, you can get a job. You have acquired professional skills, knowledge that is needed in the marketplace. You get a job, a good job. So as a doctor, somebody will employ you. Lawyer, a chamber will hire you. You groom yourself well. Some good churches would like to have you as a pastor. A man who gets professional skills will surely get a job, and he will get a good pay. And that will exit him out of poverty. And he will move into a realm of just enough.